o'clock on the 22nd. Oh, we are getting ready to do key to coaching for residential real estate agents interested in essential employee relocation. I'm going to be doing some call to action, sort of talk about what I would do if I were in your shoes, in your local market, show you exactly how you can get ahead of the essential employee relocation opportunity and how you can meet some of the HR directors and get involved in Relo. Also, we manage a nonprofit, Hero Benefits Network, where our essential employee relocation company can offer down payment assistance and relocation grants to the essential employees of your local market. So get to know us better here. And if you like what we're doing, show you how to get involved. I'll give it another minute before I go rattling on. I always make a policy of giving it an extra 60, 90 seconds after 10 because I've met realtors. Some realtors are amazing. Others might run into technical problems. So I was one of the latter, by the way. I was a pretty productive dude, but I didn't show up for meetings on time. Very, very famous for not paying attention to other people when they spoke. That was one of my mental illnesses. I thought I was really good at my job and I didn't need to learn from anybody else. Till I got some humility, got my ass handed to me a little bit, and then I started to listen. Now I'm 56 years old and I have retired from residential real estate sales. I was a broker owner and a national franchise owner. I operated a national franchise and I was a regional director for another national franchise. So I've been involved in leadership in the residential real estate space for my whole life. And the last 14 years, I built 90,000 realtors in the real estate productivity platform that I run. And this is a whole new nonprofit venture during retirement for us. So I'm going to read that description on the top left-hand side of your screen. A consumer direct value add means here, kitty, kitty, kitty. There's a lure floating across the pond, and we're going to get them big old bass, big old lunkers from the bottom to swim up to the top to bite our lure. That's what value add means. So this is a consumer direct value add solution for top realtor referral partners, meaning inexperienced realtors or realtors that don't understand sales, realtors that don't understand the selling process may have a harder time here. But the top realtors that understand listing inventory and understand how to take listings and how to get listings, they're really understanding the value of the Essential Employee Relocation Network. It's the veterans and the top producers that are really understanding what we're doing. If you're one of the emerging agents that are on today and you want to learn more, we are going to be adding some more basic residential real estate sales training, especially around the listing process. I've been studying some of the top listing agents in the country over the past few months, and they're also getting involved with the Hero Benefits Network, but to understand what they do. Remember, we offer exclusive territory licenses from as little as $100 a month. And I'm going to show you this flow chart now just to show you how you fit into our world. You know, the employee registers for benefits at herobenefitsnetwork.com or .org. There's a spot for them to fill out a registration form that you'll see. And when they fill out a registration form, we're going to send them directly to the realtor that owns the license for that zip code. So you've got, an opportunity to create your own business. We're going to teach you how to do that. We're going to teach a man how to fish. And then every once in a while we get lucky and we can throw you a fish, but we are new. We're only 9 months old and we don't have, maybe a year now, I guess a year since we formed, but only about 9 months that we've been operational. So on the realtor side of the fence, there's 3 steps that you need to learn. You need to learn how to do a competent wants and needs analysis to ingratiate yourself and build rapport. You know, the opportunity to establish some credibility before you try to influence in their decision making, right? You want to build up some rapport and credibility while you're doing your wants and needs analysis to understand, where they're heading, why they're going, what's their motivation, what's their timeline, what experiences have they had before? Have they been shopping very long? And if you're a veteran realtor, you know how to do this. But there are some unique strategies in our wants and needs analysis that I'll share with you over time as we get to know each other better. Then we go for the throat. We vet them for red flags. They're not a United States citizen. We're not going to disposition the loan, but we know from experience that if they're not a U.S. citizen, they've got to be channeled in a different direction, right? If they've had a bankruptcy, they might have to be consulted. If they have a credit score less than, 600 or 580, we're not going to disposition the loan, but we know that's a problem. If they're brand new to the job, they've never been a cop before, and they've only been a cop for 6 months, we might have a hard time getting them a mortgage, right? And your mortgage bankers are going to know that stuff, but it's your job to kind of get ahead of those red flags and just analyze the purchasing power of the client from a layperson's perspective based on common knowledge about the mortgage industry, and then send them over. Number 3. Hey, let's find out how much you qualify for. How much of a grant will you qualify for from the nonprofit? Will you be somebody who gets $2,600 cash to buy a house? Or will you be somebody who gets $10,000 to help with moving expenses and relocation grant? We don't know that until you meet our mortgage professional. So it's integral to the system that after your 3 steps, you send the referral over to an MLO, and then that MLO and you establish the amount of the voucher, right? Because you know how much he's buying, you know if he's selling anything, you know how to calculate the voucher if you've been through certification. You know that you're going to be giving up some of your commissions, and so is that MLO. Both the MLO and you are willing to donate some of your commission and some of your yield spread premium, or at least your compensation, or some of the BIPs on the loan back to the hero. That's where the money comes from, guys. Your contribution is how we curate the relocation grant. So we calculate the relocation grant based on the amount of home they're purchasing or what they're selling and buying. And then obviously the benefactor in fulfillment is the title company. Now, we've asked you 100 freaking times in the past 3 months to nominate a title company. I don't know of any realtor that's nominated a title company yet. Thanks very much. We could use some title company help. We don't need to charge them any money. It's not like we're trying to sell them anything, but we need a local title company in your market that can close these deals for us. Most of them want to get involved in promoting to the heroes and to the realtors. So they're called brand ambassador title companies. They're fulfillment companies, but they're brand ambassadors for us. And I can get a title company in for no charge just to get them started. They don't have to make a donation to the organization just to be able to do transactions with us. So in fact, we're the only Hero Benefits Network or Hero Direct model that doesn't charge a monthly fee to do deals. You can do deals with us without paying a fee. You just pay a little bit more in your donation at the end. So we'll talk about that in just a minute. So we're not going to get into the granular today. We're not going to give you an orientation to your marketing portal. I don't do any of that stuff. And if you have paid or haven't paid or own a zip code or don't own a zip, I don't care about any of that. All I work on is production and listing inventory, and I only do this 3 times a week. I do mortgage guys on Monday, title people on Tuesday, and realtors on Wednesday. So if you ever want to nominate a title company or a mortgage company to the network, we would love you and appreciate you, and we need you to do that because we don't have feet on the street in your market, and we need title and mortgage in your market. So essentially, we do believe we have a pretty easy job, even if it was only $2,500. You think a cop's going to turn down $2,500? A firefighter, teacher, nurse? Come on. The average down payment assistance is somewhere around $3,700 year to date. And if they buy a $300,000 or $400,000 or $500,000 house, there's no doubt it'll be well above $5,000 for down payment assistance. And then on relocation grants, you can combine up like the one they're selling plus the one they're buying, and it turns out to be as much as $10,000. And this is 501c3 charitable, so you don't have to deal with compliance issues. You don't have to worry about kickbacks. You don't have to worry about bird dog fees. You don't have to worry about any business to business compliance whatsoever because we are a 501c3 charitable organization. We are exempt from that business to business bullshit that you have to deal with. We are like a church, and there's no judge in any jurisdiction that would claim this to be illegal because we are a non-profit organization who curates the donations from you and then gives them back to the essential employee. And essential employee is a word that we use in the Reload Network, and heroes is what we use in Hero Direct. We're going to go through a couple ways that you can get ahead of the boom. And there is a boom. There's a lot of people who are moving to lesser expensive communities to be a cop or a firefighter or a teacher. They can't afford to live in Miami, San Francisco, Denver. They can't afford to live in New England anymore. So they're moving. And they're moving out of those communities. And many of them are double dipping on their pensions. So they're using their first 20 years in Fort Lauderdale to retire and get their pension. And then they move out and they move over to Keokuk, Iowa, or just outside of Little Rock, Arkansas. And they set up shop and they teach again. Now they're double dipping. They're getting their pension from their first, and they've retired, and they're moving to a lesser expensive community to serve a smaller town. And I want to teach you today how we invest your donations. So that's Devin on the far right. I heard she's still in the office today helping out with membership director work. I'm going to introduce you to Randy Nemiroff, the Chief Connection Officer, who's going to help us with human resource directors. Whenever we have a human resource director, we can go online, schedule an appointment with Randy or I, and we'll go ahead and present to the human resources director for you. Just schedule that online. We'll do that. I'm going to show you that in just a minute. And then Carrie runs all the operations, including all the licensure, insurances, and making sure we are compliant with 501c3 and the agricultural department to make sure that we can receive these donations from you. I'm a 38-year veteran in residential real estate at the brokerage and franchise level. I get to show you some new services that we're bringing in today. One of them is a national broadcast directly to heroes. We're going to be offering a once a month national broadcast for heroes where my team and I will come online to present directly to your buyers and sellers. We're going to do it in a format similar to a first-time homebuyer seminar, where we're going to talk about the market, we're going to talk about interest rates, we're going to talk about buying, we're going to talk about selling, we're talking about the National Association of Realtors settlement. We're going to show them their rights. Then we're going to teach them about the grants, and we're going to teach them about their opportunity towards homeownership. We're going to do that live once a month. And then, of course, it'll always be on demand for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on herobenefitsnetwork.org so that you can just open it up and play it with a cop if you wanted to. But that national broadcast is going to serve as a rallying cry for all of our sales associates across the country to drive buyers and sellers to it. We're going to be offering, we've always offered it, but nobody's using it. Nobody knows how to do it, I guess, and that's my fault. So we're going to be offering HR director consultations free. We don't charge any money to do that. We don't, you don't have to pay Randy or myself to go online and do HR director consultation. It's our pleasure. When we do it, we layer in perk plans. We teach the HR director all about our relationships to other associations and veteran groups, and we show them how credible the Perk Plans organization is as the backbone of Hero Benefits. Then we teach them about the grants and down payment assistance, and we show them how their law enforcement officers or their firefighters or their nurses can receive these vouchers for down payment assistance and relocation grants. So you can now go ahead and schedule that online at herobenefitsnetwork.org. Just schedule an appointment, schedule a seminar you want to do. You're going to be able to schedule anything you're going to do that's consumer facing or human resource director facing, chief of police facing. You could schedule that online, and we're going to do those presentations for you. Of course, the second bullet under director consultations is learn it yourself. That's our goal, to have an army of realtors across the country that understand the value proposition and how to present it. But we'll ride the bike with training wheels for the first few. So just schedule them online and we'll do them together, and then you'll learn. This ain't even selling, man. It's just telling. you just throw away sales from the vocabulary in this world. When you're with an HR director, as soon as you explain it, the big aha moment happens. Their right eyebrow goes up, and they're like, "Yeah, let's do it." I mean, I don't think I've ever had one turn down. I can't remember one person. I did have one thing happen to me that was a little disappointing. I had General Petraeus, the director of the military. General Petraeus's wife ran housing for the military. And we had an appointment with her from a connection in Tallahassee, Florida, named Dave Merzen. And we were not able to secure that appointment. And I think it was just because we didn't have any coverage at the time. We weren't able to show that we had enough realtors. And that's why the mandate came down to have 40,000 realtors by the end of this calendar year, if it's possible, to have 40,000 certified realtors across the country. Then the tail can wag the dog, baby. Then we can go to the PBA and say, we got 40,000 realtors willing to do this with you all over the country in every nook and cranny of the of the nation. The other free service we're going to be providing starts in February. It's a book club that I think is the secret sales weapon for those of you who have never been in sales and don't realize that when you're in a pricing debate or a commission debate or the terms of the listing debate or any of the debates that you've got to have with sellers and buyers, their ego is high and their anxiety is high. Whenever you're dealing with a $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 asset, everybody's a little amped, right? So Crucial Conversations for me has been the secret sales weapon to high dollar, high ego financial sales. Like it's important to understand that there's a system for having those conversations. We have one job for our realtors to tell essential employees about our down payment and assistance and relocation grant. By thinking about this administration and what's going to happen with the way that the police departments have felt during the past 4 years versus how they might feel over the next 4 years. Back the Blue is going to replace the words defund the police for good. Veterans deserve it, firefighters deserve it, EMT deserves it, teachers deserve it, and all first responders deserve it. So here's how our system works. And somebody who's in the system who already paid didn't even know this, right? Didn't even know where the down payment assistance came from. And I was on the phone with her and I was like, we got to talk about that down payment assistance. I don't know how that down payment assistance works. I'm like, oh shit. So I guess I screwed up. We collect a 30% referral fee from you at closing, and we curate that to our licensed real estate brokerage so that it's legal referral fee. We take that 30% referral fee at closing and we turn it around back to the hero in the form of a nonprofit grant. So it's like cleaning the money. We clean it through our licensed brokerage. We donate that money to the nonprofit, and then the nonprofit cuts a check to the hero. Now, that 30% referral fee is pretty industry-wide standard. But if you own an exclusive geographic territory for $129 a month, our prices just went up. I think you could still get in on the website at $100 a month, but zip codes are going to go to $129 a month in February. And if you pay the $129 a month, you just need to pledge 25% on the closed transaction. So if you did one deal, the difference almost pays for the whole year. And that's how we built this, guys. That's how we built this. We built this so it makes sense to do it as a referral fee at closing for 30%, and it makes sense to buy an exclusive geographic territory if you're going to commit. I've always used a spend a dime, make a dollar mathematics in residential real estate. And it came from the 1980s when every damn Harmon representative, every, lead gen representative, they would always say to me stupid things like this. Hey, it's only $1,500. All you have to do is sell one deal and it pays for it. Well, if you want to go out of business fast, spend $1,500 to make $1,500. That's the worst business decision you could ever make. There's no profit. So what we determined at our brokerage was there's a formula that we could use to vet opportunities. And the formula was this: with 1,300 realtors, many, many, many elite producers, we would use the spend a dime, make a dollar equation to determine whether we should move forward with a product. So a product says it's $1,500 a year. Does it make me $15,000 or not? If it doesn't make me $15,000 on my $1,500 investment, then I'm not doing it. And if you started to draw a line in the sand, the only people who would spend differently than that are elite residential real estate agents who are establishing an institutional presence. And I'll say that again. If you're already doing, $500,000 a year in commissions, and you want to invest 50 grand a year on bus benches all over the county, that's institutional. You're not expecting to make $500,000 more off that $50,000 investment. But in our world, when we're dealing with realtors that make 60 grand a year, 80 grand a year, 120 grand a year, we have to teach them. We have to teach them what the elite real estate agents already know, which is you never spend a dime unless the dime has an anticipation of making a dollar. So I would grant you a personal handshake that if you do what I tell you to do, you're probably going to make between $60,000 and $90,000 on your $1,500 investment if you own an exclusive geographic territory. I think you could do $3 million at ease, and probably more like $5 million if you did it right. And we're going to teach you how to do it right. The first thing you need to know is how to calculate the grant, right? So you're sitting with a dude that says he's buying a $400,000 house. You should be able to go, $4,600 is your grant. Let's see if you qualify. And then send them over to the mortgage banker. Oh, you want to buy a $250,000 house? Oh, it looks like about $2,900. $2,900 if you're buying a $250,000 house, right? So you get the idea. It's just a matter of you knowing 0.0115 in your calculations. Imagine you're sitting down with a listing client, and the listing client is a retiring teacher. She wants to list a house for $400,000, and then she wants to move to a lesser expensive area and buy one for $300,000. So you go, okay, you don't show the client this math. You just explain to them that Hero Benefits Network, a nonprofit relocation grant for essential employees and first responders and veterans, hereby authorizes me to calculate 0.0075 on the listing house and 0.0115 on the buying house, and your grant comes to $7,000, whatever it is, right? And that process is making the offer. I'm gonna go back to the screen at the risk of making you dizzy. I'm just going back to this screen right here to say to you, you have 3 jobs: to do a quality wants and needs analysis with the client before you get into the grant, to build it up a little bit by asking some knockout questions, some red flag questions. Are you a United States citizen? Have you ever filed bankruptcy? Have you been on the job for a long enough time? Were you in the police academy for a while and now you're in the job. Let's calculate that out and let me run it by my mortgage banker to see if you can qualify for a mortgage right now. Also, who else is buying? Where are you thinking about buying? What are you trying to buy? When are you trying to buy? So you're vetting them. And then you'll say to them, well, based on what you're telling me, and you're currently an employee at the police department, looks like you're going to qualify for a grant. So let me do a rough calculation first and show you about how much the grant will be. And yep, it looks like they're going to give you about $4,500, about $4,500 to help with moving expenses or to help with closing costs. Or like this young teacher just did, she bought down her rate. She used our relocation grant to pay what they call a discount point. And that 1% discount point bought her rate down a little bit, right? So we're able to buy down a rate for relocation grant money. And the pre-qualification referral goes to, all right, I need to get you to my mortgage partner who's going to do the final calculations on your voucher, and then the voucher will be issued. We can't ever offer a voucher for the $4,700 until the mortgage banker has talked to the client. We will never do that. We'll do a soft net of it, but we won't ever actually, produce a voucher until the client has spoken to an in-network mortgage professional for pre-qualification. It's vital. So as we're navigating this world, we know that there's two choices for you as a realtor. You can give away 30% referral fee at closing, which we keep 5% for operating expenses, and we give back 25% of it to the hero. Or you can pay us monthly and we'll only collect 25% from you. See how it works? What you get for the exclusive geographic territory is protection, but you also get access to the marketing portal. You get, a laundry list of deliverables that my team at Hero Benefits will share with you, the deliverables for that exclusive. So we just did a review of the calculations because we're the only Hero Direct network that's a nonprofit, but we're also the only Hero network that pledges money from the realtor, the mortgage, and the title company. So we're combining your pledge with a mortgage pledge and a title pledge. And that's where the down payment assistance and relocation grants really is different than, say, a Homes for Heroes. Now I'm going to talk to you about a ramp that we can do together, ramp it up. We're going to collaborate with mortgage bankers, title company to start doing some promotions. The one thing I can tell you is realtors add marketing, then it adds production. If you don't do any marketing, you're not going to get any production. Sorry to say that. But the one-stop shop will target heroes in your market. Why do I say the one-stop shop? Because you could do it alone. You could be a rogue realtor trying to do it on your own, or you could build yourself a cabinet of service providers that made you look like a we. I'll tell you what, we's can beat up yous any day. There ain't never been a you that can beat up a we except for Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris, right? But if you got a good you, you're going to do okay. But if I got a good we, I'm going to beat you every time. Well, the we is your mortgage partner, your title partner, and Hero Benefits Network. And it's just a more formidable enterprise when you have the four-legged stool, right? The four-legged stool is all four of us working together. So the mortgage partner will work with the realtor and the title company to host hero events or to broadcast to heroes, or we can send letters to heroes, or we can send emails or slide into their DMs. We can do social media posts together. And imagine your logo with the cross country logo, with the Annie Mac logo, and the First Fidelity title or the Surety title logo. Now you have credibility and stature because we's beat up I's every day of the week. Start using we even in your vocabulary. Never say the word I, never say the word me. Always say the word we and us. It's very, very expensive lesson for egomaniacs that happen to be in real estate. Even the Mark Spains of the world that are making $2.5 million in commissions, you get them on the phone to say we. They never say I. So stop saying I, start saying we. So you can go into your portal right now and you can download this template for a letter. I mean, geez, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 sentences. And since you can't see it too well, I enlarged it. Captain Harris. Now, on my promotion for Keita, I said, what would I do if I was dropped off naked and afraid in Jacksonville, Florida? First thing I'd do is go to Goodwill, buy some clothes. Then I'd go out on the street and I'd walk into the law enforcement office and say, hi, I'm the benefits director for law enforcement here in Jacksonville. I would go meet the firefighters, the teachers, the cops, and the nurses. Well, this letter was kind of famous for me because I sent it to the Florida Highway Patrol back in 1990. Help with housing is available to your sworn officers and civilian employees. They love the word sworn officers. That's a specific industry term. And civilian employees. These funds never have to be repaid. We gift law enforcement officers and other essential employees up to $10,000 to help with down payment, relocation, and or closing costs. Somebody asked me this, and I don't know if you'll agree with me, but take that second sentence. We gift law enforcement officers and other essential employees up to $10,000. But what if it's less? That's pretty standard when the word up to is used. I think most people understand what up to means. The person who's ineffective is the realtor who's scared. When you have fear and anxiety about what you're saying, you're not credible. They don't trust you. You look shaky. You look like you're fibbing. So if you need to change these words to make yourself feel more conviction, do it. But I'm going to show you what works. What works is the chief needs to know, Captain Harris needs to know that we have up to 10 grand per employee. We do have up to 10 grand per employee. But if this employee is buying a $250,000 house and that's all they're doing, they're going to get about 3 grand. Okay. But if somebody's selling a $300,000 house and buying a $500,000, they're going to get almost 10 grand. So there is up to $10,000, and we've even gone over $10,000, which is true. But we offer free online registration at herobenefitsnetwork.org. And because I want to say we, because we are the local benefits directors, we can distribute vouchers and information at the station. Together, Captain Harris, we can address the homeownership affordability crisis for law enforcement officers. And then you sign it as a 501c3 nonprofit Hero Benefits Network. You do not sign it as REMAX. I was with REMAX for 14 years. I was with Exit for 10 years. I was, with Century 21 for 5 minutes. But at the end of the day, you're not with them at that point. You're not with REMAX when you're talking to Captain Harris. You're with Hero Benefits Network. Our brand is more powerful than their brand with Captain Harris. I'm going to say that again. Hero Benefits Network brand is more valuable than REMAX to Captain Harris. Captain Harris doesn't care if he's with the red, white, and blue balloon or the big blue rock or the, EXP. He doesn't care about EXP. He only cares about what's in it for him. So if you stop talking about EXP and REMAX and Century 21 and Caldwell Banker and Sotheby's, well, Sotheby's is pretty unique. I would talk about Sotheby's if I was in a luxury home. I would always talk about Sotheby's if I was over $1 million. But anywhere else under $1 million, I'm only talking about what's in it for them. I'm talking about we, us, our team, our cabinet, who we deal with, and the 501c3. And then the hero just goes in and registers and you get that lead. So when the hero registers, you get that lead. Now, if you say to me, I don't even know the zip code, how am I going to get the lead? You could build your own landing page and then you get the lead. You could do that. But I would recommend that you buy a zip code now because the $1,500 that you spend now is going to be worth a hell of a lot more than that next year and next year and next year. It's going to keep building. I want you to imagine that you have 6 or 8 families running around with these vouchers. That's when if you've ever had 5 or 6 listings at a time, you feel like a shoe store that has shoes in it, right? Right now, if you only have a listing or two, or you have no listings, you're kind of like running a shoe store with no shoes. So your shoe store doesn't get populated with inventory until you take listings. So imagine this young family went online, registered, did a $9,729 voucher, and then was introduced to you as a client that wants to buy or sell a home in Keokuk, Iowa. Well, gosh, they're kind of sort of integrated into our system now. So I want you to think about sales funnels for a minute. If you bought a lead from Zillow, and I bought, on behalf of the company that I used to work for, I think we spent $700,000 just on Zillow leads against my recommendation, by the way. Every time they would increase the lead spend budget, I would say, no, don't increase it. But they would do it anyway, and it blew my mind. I've been doing this for 37 years, and I would tell them, don't spend more money on leads until you get this, and this right. And they would say, no, we're spending more money on leads. And I would say, God, you're stupid. Stupidest freaking millionaires I ever met. How could a millionaire be that stupid? Just to throw away money. You don't even have a way to do it yet, and you're spending more money. It just blew my mind. But essential employee relocation is different because the Hero Benefits Network acts as golden guardrails. Imagine if all those leads that we had generated for $700,000 were wrapped up in a voucher system that was good for relocation grants, down payment assistance, and the opportunity to receive a relocation help with their move. That becomes sort of the catalyst for loyalty. I can't really say it any other way. That hero on the far right of your screen enjoys 100% freedom of choice. They can pick any mortgage bank they want. They can pick any title company they want. They can even pick any realtor they want. But they're not going to get the full extent of the grant if they switch realtors, or if they switch mortgage companies, or if they switch title agencies. So I have to make sure that my mortgage bankers, my title agents, and my real estate agents are providing good, solid service for a good, solid price. And if we ever found any gouging or price gouging or any kind of rate sensitive issues with our mortgage bankers, we would have a conversation with them and say, look, you can't raise your rates by a quarter of a point to pay for the quarter of a point that you're giving back. You can't do that. You got to be in line, right? So we help our mortgage bankers navigate that. But ultimately, the hero is in charge and can leave that mortgage banker anytime they want. They just give up a part of the grant to do so. And that's all in writing on the voucher. It's all clearly spelled out to the hero in advance. So they have 100% freedom of choice of any realtor they want to use, any mortgage banker they want to use, and any title company they want to use. But if they want the funds from the grants, we have a network of realtors, mortgage bankers, and title companies that we recommend. And if you use them, we curate donations from them that become the grant. So your grant would be affected if you chose to go outside of our network. So we have the perfect mousetrap, I believe. We have the sincerity of a nonprofit, the validity of a voucher that never has to be repaid, a grant that never has to be repaid, and we have the quality of professional realtors, mortgage bankers, and title companies working together to fund these transactions and fulfill the needs of our heroes. I love this job. It is 10 times better, even though I'm not getting paid. I haven't taken a paycheck. I've been doing this for a year, never took a paycheck. Neither has Carrie, neither has Randy. But the reason that we haven't taken a paycheck is because this shit's about to explode. Okay? We are unbelievably blessed to be a part of the Hero Benefits Network, and we think that it's politically the right time to do it. Now, you're a realtor. You're going to go out and shake hands and kiss babies like every realtor does and say, hi, my name's Bob from Keller Williams Realty. I've been a realtor for 20 years. I. Or hey, we run a nonprofit. We help first responders with housing. We offer down payment assistance and relocation grants for teachers. I happen to be the local benefits director, and we offer help with housing so that your school can attract the best teachers and keep them because they own homes. Teachers stay with the same school longer when they own a home, don't they? So we want to help your teachers come in and come to work for you and then get them involved in home ownership early. And we do that with relocation grants and down payment assistance. See, one of them is a job. Yes, I had a job, Russ from Remax. But when I was a benefits director, I wore a different hat altogether. It was a philanthropic hat. So your call to action today is quite simple call to action. I'm going to leave this screen up for you while I articulate your call to action for the week. Today is, we broadcast on Wednesdays. So I'm not going to see you again until next Wednesday. Unless you book a HR consultation or a live event with us, we'll see you out there. But if you don't have any live events coming up and you don't have any HR consultations coming up, I'll see you next Wednesday at Key to Coaching. First, your first call to action, if you are not certified as a Hero Benefits Network Realtor, you need to take that quiz because that allows us to collect the data and put you on the map. We have a map of all the realtors certified and where they're located so we can refer people to them and we can brag about them. We make public relations announcements, PR announcements, and we also do press releases and social media announcements about you becoming certified. You've seen them floating around social media and throughout the communities that we serve. This promotion itself is worth, a great deal in a third-party endorsement for you. So if you haven't been certified, make sure you get certified and we will make announcements about you becoming a certified Hero Benefits Director. Your only other call to action is notes. I know it sounds sophomoric, maybe a little rudimentary, but if you would just do 20 notes this week. Tomorrow, I want you to go buy 20 stamps at the post office. Tomorrow, I want you to go buy 20 little handwritten note cards. And just send that note out to the Captain Harris of your community. Send that note out that I showed you to the principal at the elementary school or the principal or the dean at the high school. And when you get to know the principal at the high school, that's good for your freaking real estate career anyway. Idiot. Come on. Like, where would it be bad to know a community leader? Unless you were shy, then you should get the fuck out of real estate. But think about that. You meet a principal at a school, you meet a chief of police, you meet a fire chief, you meet the director at the PBA, you meet the director at the FOP, and as long as you have some value, they're going to cross-contaminate your other career just because they like you. When I mean cross-contaminate, when you sit down with the chief of police and you explain that you're a Hero Benefits Director, he knows, what your motives are. He knows that you're trying to buy and sell houses. It's not a secret. And he knows that you're a credible realtor for him and his family and his friends. And he becomes ingratiated to you. I can't explain how much more credibility your residential real estate career has because you're tied to a nonprofit. Like it's kind of like being a member of BNI. Like, hey, I'm the only realtor in BNI. Well, you have more credibility to those BNI members, don't you? Well, it's the same as that. You're going out to further ingratiate your professionalism and your career to these chiefs of police, these firefighters, and these cops. And it's the equivalent of being a farming agent. Imagine you were going to farm a little subdivision. Well, each time you hit that subdivision with a farming piece, it's to build your credibility long term. Most realtors don't even know that. They think they're sending a mailer out to get a listing. What they're doing is they're doing mailers 24 times a year to build their credibility in that community over time. And it's that credibility boom that takes 6, 12, 18 months of work to build. In the hero community, it only takes a day. It takes one day. Send out a note, get an appointment, let Randy or I make the consultation with you present, and we'll endorse you to him. We'll say, listen, we met Margaret at Keller Williams. She's one of the most credible realtors in this community. So when we were looking for someone to partner with, we were so happy we found Margaret. She's got a 9-year history of selling real estate here in the community. So we employed her as a Hero Benefits director to spread the good word of our nonprofit relocation grants and down payment assistance. So you following how it endorses you to the community that you serve? So you could spend $129 a month on a bus bench, or you could spend $129 being the exclusive residential real estate professional for a community, and then don't hide your little light under the bushel. You got to let your light shine. You got to go out and send these handwritten notes. So I gave you a 4-sentence handwritten note to send out to the leaders of every community. That handwritten note is in your portal. Go ahead and scan that QR code if you haven't been certified. And if you have, reach out to us online at herobenefitsnetwork.org. You can book an appointment with us directly. You can schedule an HR consultation with us. And you can also schedule a live, in-person Hero Direct webinar where the heroes of your community can learn about us. You can schedule that online at herobenefitsnetwork.org. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I have been a realtor for 40 years, and I believe this is the best thing you can do in the advent of the new operating environment in residential real estate, whereby intimacy is going to trump technology in 2025. Intimacy of relationships is going to be the catalyst for more production, not more pay-per-click buying of leads. It's going to be getting intimate with the entire police department, the entire fire department, the entire school board, the entire hospital district. The intimacy of these relationships is going to be the catalyst for the production in 2025, not AI or some stupid pay-per-click bullshit that you've been paying for. It's going to be getting to know people, belly button to belly button, eyeball to eyeball, human contact. That's going to make you rich in residential real estate. The riches are in the niches, and we're going to make it in 2025. Thank you very much.